Everybody, my name is Marilee Burnett, and I am here again with the messages for the week of August 26, 2024, which I think is going to feel a little bit more calm compared to how it's been the last several weeks. So we will dive in and see if that turns out to be true. For those of you who are new to my channel, I would love it if you would click on that subscribe button now. That way you get all the details on my content as soon as I launch it. Also, go out to my website, marileeburnett.com. That's where you get all my printed information, like my monthly horoscope articles, as well as the article on the upcoming new moon in Virgo, which will be next week's topic of conversation. So you can go out and get a preview of what that is about right now. Just go out to marileeburnett.com, join my group, and then you'll automatically get the content emailed to you as soon as I send it out to my readers. And I would love for you to be one of those. All right. Let's take a deep breath and let's dive into the last week of August, because things are really going to start to shift in September. And this is our time to kind of take a breath before we have some big work to do. And as we start this week off, what you'll notice, I'm using Astrologer software if you're new. And when we see the blue energies, that's harmonious energy. It's either a sextile or a trine, which is helpful, supportive energy. And energy in red is more difficult to maneuver. It is like a stop sign, the color red. And so you have to pause and think about how you're going to actually work with this energy. And on Monday, what we'll notice is we're going to start to get into the energy of Venus in Virgo. So she's quickly finishing her time in this sign where she feels a little bit of restraint compared to her Libra-ness, which is where she's headed next. So that will be good. But while she's still in the sign of Virgo, she's having a conversation with Uranus, which can bring unexpected changes in relationships. It can bring unexpected changes in your finances. Not a good week to do anything as far as a beauty treatment, because it could turn out differently than you planned. It's a good time to break free from things where you feel stuck and trapped. But again, you have to kind of expect the unexpected. So really take a look at where is this 26, 27 degrees of Virgo in your chart, and where is the same 27 degrees of Uranus. And keep in mind, Uranus is starting to slow down because it is also going to get ready to go retrograde. And when it does, woo, things are going to get a little crazy. So this is how we start out the week. And they'll also see the moon will be in Gemini for these first couple of days. So emotionally, you can basically be feeling challenged, right? It's not quite sure what you want, changing your mind, seeing the other side of something. So emotionally, you just might watch for the next couple of days and see how you feel when the moon, that's very emotional, is in a very analytical sign, which of course is Gemini, an air sign. Okay, let us dive on in and take a look at Tuesday. So on the 27th, we are going to see Venus at 27 degrees. So you're still seeing that conversation with Uranus. And here it's showing that they're connected positively to this Pluto energy, which is almost done in the sign of Aquarius, and it's going to be moving back into Capricorn. So by degree, it's technically a grand Earth trine, but Pluto isn't in there yet. So it'll be interesting to see if something does present itself, if something does try to revive a love relationship. Maybe somebody who just filed for divorce made somebody wake up and they're going to change their mind. What crazy things are possible during this type of energy. The other thing that we will see during this time is Mercury. So Mercury is back to the original degree where it started pre-shadow of its retrograde journey. So we've been through the last 6 weeks of this, and now we'll have a few more as Mercury makes its way forward. And anytime a planet is changing direction, the energy is changing, the energy is picking up. And so we're going to see that now. So wherever you have 21 degrees of Leo, it's going to be emphasized. And any planets you have around 21 degrees in your natal chart will also be emphasized. Mercury in Leo has been information, right? We've learned a lot of things. There's been a lot of speeches during this time. We've had the RNC, we've had the DNC. We've had all kinds of craziness going on as far as information goes as well. And so expect something, again, to kind of stir things up during this time. You also have Venus sitting in opposition to Neptune. So again, another piece of energy, just like Pluto, stirring things up that are hidden and behind the scenes. And so I think Tuesday will be one of those days where it's a little bit intriguing. And keep in mind, Venus isn't harsh, right? It's a benefic energy. And Neptune and Pluto together are, again, when external planets go retrograde, they are bringing things up to the surface that we need to deal with. So something's being poked and dug at on Tuesday that we should find enlightening. Then as we move into Wednesday, even the week is moving itself along pretty quickly. You're going to see that opposition between Venus and Neptune is now exact, so it's even stronger, whatever this push and pull event is about. Neptune, of course, is our spirituality, its musicality, and Venus likes the Neptune and the Piscean energy. That's one of the areas where she travels, that this feminine energy feels really good in. So I don't feel, again, like this is a real strong energy where we're super uncomfortable, but we're definitely going to feel the pressure and we need to do something about it. And it may be a question about boundaries. It may be a question about our values. What do we really love? There's just something that's coming up. And as Venus sits here and has this conversation, it's sitting at 29 degrees. And I always say 29 degrees is the degree where we're tested, right? What have you learned while you've been in Virgo? Are you healing? Are you controlling all the facts and the details? Are you being too controlling in love or money? There's some kind of a lesson that will wrap up on Wednesday as this opposition concludes. And then Venus is getting ready to move into her home sign of Libra, which she will very much appreciate. So let's take a look at Thursday. So on Thursday, you will notice, as I mentioned, so here's Venus at 0 degrees of Libra. So she is now in her home sign for the next several of weeks. And as the planet moves there, it's now having that perfectly harmonious conversation with Pluto. Now, Pluto energy is not necessarily energy that Venus appreciates, but this conversation between the two planets is something that they're working together. There is a common goal. And in air signs, the goal can be about communication. It's obviously about Libra themes, relationships, commitments, legal documents, balance. There's something that Pluto, through others, right? We, the people, Aquarius energy, is helping Venus in her relationship goals. Maybe it's a financial contract for you of some kind. So always take advantage of energy when it shows up, even if you can't exactly see it, because Pluto does bring transformation and change, but it's positive transformation during this time. The other energy that's really interesting is the sun is also moved into Virgo. And in this sign, it happens to have an interesting, maybe awkward conversation with the North Node in Aries. And so there's some situation that you're trying to control, and you're trying to control somebody else. and it's not going well. And so you're going to see why with this conflict that comes up. And it's just very awkward energy. These two energies, Virgo and Aries, they just do not see eye to eye. And in order to get along, you have to do something really different than you normally would. So Aries, you would have to compromise, for instance, like your Libra opposing energy. And Virgo, you would have to let go of control, right? So they're kind of similar in the work that needs to be done, but that we'll definitely see again, some lessons with anytime the nodes are activated, it's fate. And it's also our path. The north is where we're supposed to go. And sometimes we have to get an adjustment to get on that path. So there may be some kind of an adjustment that happens today in the collective and in your own life. And women with Venus at the helm here may be a driving force for that change. And it may be a woman who is a lawyer. So we'll see what's going to happen there. All right, let us move forward. We're moving along. See, this is a really easy week. It's easy for me. I don't have a lot I have to talk about. All right, as we move into Friday, not a big shift, but you're going to see, of course, Venus is now at 1 degree. Venus moves quickly, still speaking, though, in harmony. I give Pluto about 2 to 3 degrees. We call it an orb, where it's still really strong in its influence. On this day, you also see the moon in Leo speaking in harmony with Venus, and that finishes out this. See, this looks a bit like a letter. It's not exact, but it's pretty darn close. So there's information that is coming to your attention. And again, when you receive mail, you need to do something with it. And of course, we have Mercury spinning, getting ready to really start taking off and moving things forward. And it could be the information you receive today that enlightens you and helps you decide what to do about this issue that is being shown to you by this woman in particular. So that is, again, it's just interesting energy this week. Nothing heavy, but definitely some things to think about. As we move into the weekend, we are going to start to see the conversation between Mercury and Chiron pick up again. Now, they met previously as Mercury was just through this area and speaking with Chiron, and now they meet here at 22 degrees. 22 is a master builder number. And so again, Mercury's got the information, it's got the details. It can be a person, a leader with Mercury in Leo that is combining with another coach, teacher, which is Chiron in Aries. And together, both in a fire sign, right, they are really increasing the passion. They're giving us a chance to heal something. And there could be information that comes out at this time about wounds, about disease, something again that once we learn it, we want to start moving forward with it. So what have the themes been of your Chiron work on yourself, right? Aries is the self, our personal confidence, wounds, right? The wound to the self. What have you been working on? There's information about whatever that is that comes out today that you want to make sure you pay attention to. All right. Now, this is the last day of August. So this is a day for completions and ending. So again, it could be a good time to do some healing. And as we move the dial, we're in for probably the most intense from a psychological level work that you will probably ever go through in your lifetime, because it's the last test that we have with Pluto ending its time in Aquarius and by the evening moving back into Capricorn. So as Pluto goes back into Capricorn, the energy of transformation, the energy of death and rebirth, this is the end of, as I've been saying this, old white man power, because that's Capricorn, right? If you think about old grandpa type of energy, it's the ways of the past. And Pluto here is tearing what doesn't serve us down so that it can be rebuilt and restructured. And, you know, Capricorn is work and it's capitalism and it's money. And if only a certain level is benefiting from it, that doesn't serve the collective, right? This is a collective energy. And so it's time, right, to finish the work, to tear down the structures that don't serve us and to rebuild them stronger. So this is the final tearing down process. It'll be at 29 degrees. And as I said earlier, 29 is a test. It's critical. And we can't avoid the work. Now, Pluto works again beneath the surface on our fears. And it can exacerbate them, but it does it so that we are forced to work on them and to deal with them. And then once we conquer fear, what does it become? It becomes our strength. And that's what we're trying to do. So during these 6 weeks, as we see all of this work coming up, become aware of your triggers. And literally, for about the last 20 years, you've seen Pluto in Capricorn. It's probably talked to some of your natal planets during that time. It's done a lot of work on 1, maybe 2 houses during that time. So it's time to review it. And there might be clues from January of this year when Pluto was last at 29 degrees and it was quick hit then. So you may not even realize what it was that you were going to be working on. But as the planet comes back and is sitting here literally at 29 degrees for the entire 6 weeks, it's going to dig it all up. There will be no pretending you can't see it or understand it. It's going to make it very, very clear. And the whole time it's doing that, it's having the conversation, a positive one, with Neptune, again, another planet that brings things up to the surface, especially emotionally. And they're both speaking also in harmony with Uranus, which has also now gone retrograde. So these outer planets, as they go retrograde, have us going within. And as Uranus in particular goes retrograde, well, the crazy might just amp up for a few days because, again, as planets make the change, which is really turning a corner around the sun that makes it look like it's going backwards, but it takes a lot of energy, right, to turn a corner. And as the planets do that, they're spinning out at all the energy. It's going out. And Uranus is kind of crazy and unexpected and wild. And as it talks with Pluto and Neptune, it's stirring some stuff up. Now, this would be a time where I would think, be careful around water, get a more unexpected surprises and accidents associated with water, whether it's at sea or big rain events, maybe hurricanes, right? That's one of the things that might get stirred up. We've got the earth energy itself, more earthquakes, all the things that are causing pressure beneath the surface have to have a way out. Now, they're forming this harmonious energy. It's all blue, but sometimes even the things that are good for us don't taste so good, right? Like medicine. But you got to take it, because when you do, it will be good in the end. And that's a little bit how these outer planets work. It's like I don't know what's going on or what suddenly happened, but I'm really going to have to sit with it and think about it. So we're in for this is long-term work that we're about to do. And it's all kicking off this September 1st, which of course is Sunday. All right, so I'm just going to move this ahead, and I'm actually going to move this back for a second just to show you when this transition happened from Saturday into Sunday for that Uranus energy as well. And as we move it forward to Monday, it'll be late enough Sunday that you're not seeing it in my video, but I think it's like 5:30 my time when Pluto officially goes back into Capricorn. But you can see it here on September 2nd. And next week when we come together, what we will be talking about is this new moon that will be happening in the sign of Virgo. So these two are going to meet at 11 degrees of Virgo, and Virgo is healing, and there's a chance for something to heal. 11, of course, is a portal of energy. We'll have Venus talking with the South Node at that time. It'll be opposing the North Node. So this is a woman from the past, a legal issue with a woman from the past that could be part of the storyline. Lots more to discuss on this. And of course, as I do the review next week with both my tarot cards and this astro lesson, I'll give you a quick rundown of what you might experience and how you want to set your new moon intentions at this time. And the thing that's going to make it intense is this difficult conversation between Mars in Gemini and Neptune in Pisces, of course, at 29 degrees. So there's a bit of a difficult conversation that comes up. But I think as a result of having the difficult conversation, like me trying to speak is difficult, is that the healing can begin. So more about that next week. But again, if you want to get a preview of it, go out to my website, again, MarileeBurnett.com, and go click on the articles for the monthly horoscope and click on the articles for the new moon in Virgo. I also have, so all of September's out there. I think all of October's out there. And we're heading into the eclipse season, so I think both eclipse articles are out there. That you can start to really plan ahead, and I think you'll appreciate taking the time when it's not completely crazy to do that, because there's some big letting goes that are coming up with the fact that we'll have that full moon lunar eclipse that happens in the emotional sign of Pisces. All right, not too bad. Quick hits this week, so let me know how the week goes for you. Leave your comments or your questions down below, no matter where you're watching this at, and I will get back to you with answers. And if you want to know more specifically about your upcoming eclipse activity, I do have a special offer for eclipse readings, and you want to go check that out as well. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you as always, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Thanks, guys. Be sure and check out your weekly tarot card messages as well. Those, along with this astro lesson, are going to give you the big picture. Thanks again for tuning in. Talk to you next week.